Good morning. Welcome to sunny Crieff, home of the Crieff Highland Gathering. Today is Sunday, the 15th of August 2020, and before the global pandemic, the Crieff Highland Gathering would have celebrated its 150th anniversary. Because of the pandemic, the games have been cancelled. Disappointing, but stay at home, stay safe, and remember your facts. My name is James Sandyman, Jim to the people outside of Crieff. I used to be a participant in the heavyweight events around about Scotland in the games. I felt because today's with the 150th anniversary, somebody should come down to the park and at least have a token throw to celebrate the 150th anniversary of the games. What makes Crieff Highland Gathering special to me? I was raised, my house just across there. Earliest memories of coming to the park and the arena, sitting on the benches round about with my grandparents, watching the games. As I got a bit older, used to come in at 8:30, 9 o'clock before the gates opened. Used to sit and watch the local heavyweights, go home, get some lunch, come back and watch the heavyweight championships. But the games aren't just about Highland, the heavyweight championships. I'll come on more about that later on. The game's about people. It's people that make a gathering. From the runners, to the dancer, to the piper, to the pipe bands, to the track and field athletes, the cyclists. We all make the games. But to make the games, we need people. And the name Highland Gathering is synonymous to Crieff. It's always been a case that you come back to Crieff at the games to catch up with old friends and acquaintances. If it wasn't for this sense of community, we wouldn't have the games. It wouldn't have lasted 150 years. So thank you to everybody else. I'd like also to mention that the games need to be run by people. There's lots of people that have been involved with the games over 150 years. There's the board of directors who you don't see their work behind the scenes. They spend hours planning, preparing, making sure that they put on one of the best spectacles on the circuit for people to enjoy. But there's others, that unnamed few, that help out. From Harry Mackay, who sits in security tent at night before the games, make sure everything's okay. Who else is there? Jimmy Mitchell, the joiner, I have to thank for shafting my first hammer for me when I first started in the games. Joe Caitkin, who used to be a regular help in the park, and others, directors in the past. Derek Halley, who set up the park, followed by Stephen Ryder, MBE, and I believe David Taylor's taken over the mantle. These guys put in a phenomenal amount of work in the lead up to the games. Having helped out setting up the park in the past, I appreciate how much they do. So thank you to them, and thank you to everybody else that helps to make the games what it is. What do I like about the games? Well, I like everything. The dancers, my stepdaughter was a dancer. The work that these ladies put into their and gentlemen, I beg your pardon, put into their sport, it's unbelievable. The fitness levels to be a premier dancer is unbelievable. It would put some other athletes to shame. The runners who pitch up week in, week out, trying to get their handicaps better, fantastic. The cyclists, these guys are crazy. Come and watch them. When the games open up, come and watch the cyclists. Single gear, on a bike, on grass, that is a workout. But what brought my attention to the games as a child was watching the heavyweight tussles. And when I was a child, it was after the time of Arthur Road, but there was one man who led through that era when I was a child. 15 years straight consecutive Scottish Championship, Bill Anderson, MBE. Unfortunately, Bill passed away on the 12th of August last year, 2019, after a long illness. But we've got to remember that Bill, born in Bucksburn in 1937, he reigned supreme. He was the first man to throw 150 feet with a hammer. His ground record set in 1969 of 123 feet 5 inches is still the ground record here at Crieff. So watching tussles with Bill, Grant Anderson, no relation, Jeff Capes came on the circuit, and I'll paraphrase it, Sir Hamish Davidson, when I was a child, spurred me on. It wasn't until my mid-20s that I managed to get the opportunity to take part, and I realised how skilled It isn't just pure strength, it's skill, it's technique, it's strength, it's stamina, it's explosive energy. And to see the stuff that these guys had to do to get at their levels is great. During my spell when I took part, I would hardly say I was a competitor. The guys that know me will understand why I'm saying that, but I was graced to meet some of the best athletes of their generation. The tussles between Bruce Aitken and Stephen Anderson for the World Hammer record. Then came in Matt Sanford who tried pushing them. I was there the day in 1998 when Bruce set the world 16-pound hammer record at Pitlochry. You just seen this thing fly. What a throw. Stephen King as well. Superb hammer thrower, superb athlete. So it's the hammer has been my thing. Shot putting, not so good. Not good at anything really, but I took part and I tried it. So to mark this 150th anniversary with the fact that the games aren't being held as a full-on spectacle. If you look around the park, if you look behind me here, this place is normally heaving at this time in the morning, with the stands, people getting ready. The first event would start at 10:30, that would be the local heavyweights and the local dancing. So it's quite sad to see it on Games Day, quite empty. So I'd like to finish off just as an homage to Bill and all the other athletes and everybody else in the past by having a go at the 22-pound hammer. I've not thrown this thing in 5 years, so if you see it coming towards the camera, towards your screen, don't need to duck. My camera will take all the brunt of the action. Final thanks, it has to be to the committee for letting me take part for the first time in 1996. Special thanks go to Stephen Ryder, MBA, his wife Izzy, their son Ali, who helped me and cajoled me and got me taking part in the circuit. There's not just only Crieff Highland Games, there's Highland Games all over Scotland in the summer. Some no longer with us, cracking wee games like Strathmiglo and Newborough have went the way of the dinosaur, which is a sad shame because both of those were cracking wee venues. You've got the premier games such as Crieff, you've got the big kahuna which is Braemar, attended by Her Majesty the Queen, Lonach at Strathdawn. Used to be a fantastic games when certain Mr Connolly was the chieftain. I think that's the biggest crowd I've ever thrown in front of. It was unbelievable there. There's Highland Games in Australia, New Zealand, Canada, America, Germany, Holland, all over the world. Unfortunately I've never experienced that, so I can't say any more about it. So wrap this up. Hope to see you 2021. Hope that I can get this old aching body to have a throw there to celebrate my 25th anniversary of having taken my first part. And my final thanks would be to some people that really have helped me. My sister for support, my mother whose skills with a certain cleaning product kept my t-shirts nice and clean after getting absolutely caked at Cabers. My father whose support is unbelievable because I didn't appreciate it at the time, but I do now. He went away to try and find people to coach me, he went out to try and get equipment for me because starting out it's difficult to get equipment. Fortunately now we've got the Perthshire Highland Games Association who run coaching sessions for youngsters. Check their website out. More games, the charitable trust here at the Crieff Highland Gathering will support you as an athlete too. So his work there and his help, unbelievable. There's lots of other people helping in the circuit. I've got to mention the Dowsons in Middlesbrough, David Senior and Triple D for their help and their coaching. But I had a spell. I also mentioned Michael Simpson, who started with me. When we started on this kind of journey, we were in a freezing cold garage at his farm, lifting weights to try and bulk ourselves up. Some nights we pushed the weight, some nights we said it's too cold, maybe a lack of dedication on my behalf. And the other gentleman that helped me a great deal and he gave me facilities to train when I was in Inverness was Ali Munro. Thank you, Ali. And finally, I'd like to thank Sylvia Stewart and her family for giving me a training field. Right, here we go. Let's see how we can get on with this 22-pound hammer. No spikes on, no sticky. any chiropractors out there, I'll leave my number at the bottom. Oh, I forgot as well, the Highland Games isn't just about there, it's also about family, and I'll put a link on the bottom. It wasn't until after his death, my grandmother's death, we found the video footage of my grandfather doing the high jump and the long jump in local events here in 1950. That's 70 years ago today. So I'm not the first generation. Hopefully I won't be the last. So here goes with the hammer. Good luck, and we'll see you 2021. That's hard going. So we'll see you 2021, Market Park in Crieff, the Sunday after the third Saturday. I've got to have a wee bit of blatant thingy here. So, as well as my father's old t-shirt, I've got my Glen Turret Highland Games vest from 1996. And a final thanks is to Mr. Geddes of Irving Geddes WS for putting my picture in one of his t-shirts when he started up. Have a great Sunday, everybody. Bye.